Imagine a criminal mastermind who seemed invincible. A man who slipped through the fingers of justice time and time again. Meet John Gotti, the Teflon Don. His story is a thrilling ride through crime, power, and the relentless pursuit of justice. John Gotti rose to power in the Gambino crime family. He was notorious for his flashy lifestyle and charisma. But his reign of terror caught the attention of law enforcement. The FBI had one goal: bring Gotti to justice. Let's break down how the FBI tackled this seemingly untouchable figure. First, they gathered evidence. Undercover agents infiltrated Gotti's inner circle. They recorded conversations, documented meetings, and compiled evidence of his illegal activities. The second step was wiretapping. The FBI installed listening devices in crucial locations. This provided a wealth of audio evidence. They captured conversations confirming his role in organized crime. Next, the FBI conducted surveillance operations. Agents watched Gotti and his associates closely. They noted his movements, relationships, and criminal dealings. Every detail mattered in building a strong case. The fourth step was collaboration with other agencies. Local police shared information. Federal agencies worked together. This united front strengthened the case against Gotti. After years of investigation, Gotti was arrested in 1990. The FBI had finally caught their prey. His trial began, and the evidence was overwhelming. Let's look at a key moment: the trial. Gotti's flamboyant courtroom presence made headlines. He attempted to charm the jury. But the mountain of evidence proved too strong. Witnesses testified against him, including former associates. Gotti was convicted in 1992 on multiple charges. He faced life in prison without parole. The Teflon Don's reign was over. His downfall marked a significant victory for law enforcement. In summary, the investigation into John Gotti was a triumph of persistence. The FBI's strategic approach led to his arrest and conviction. Their teamwork and dedication dismantled a powerful crime empire. Feeling intrigued by the world of crime and justice? Subscribe for more stories like Gotti's. Dive deeper into the lives of infamous criminals. Let's explore history together. John Gotti's saga doesn't just illustrate the challenges faced by law enforcement, it also reflects on the allure of power and the darkness that comes with it. His charisma captivated many, making his criminal activities almost seem glamorous, yet the reality was far grimmer. While he flaunted his wealth, others in his life paid dearly for it. Families torn apart, lives shattered, and communities living in fear, these were the true costs of Gotti's empire. The pursuit of justice wasn't merely about locking away a man, it was about restoring peace and hope to a world that had suffered greatly. As Gotti sat in the courtroom, the tension was palpable. The jury members leaned forward, their eyes glued to him, unsure of how a figure so flamboyant could be reduced to this moment of vulnerability. His tailored suit and trademark hairstyle oozed confidence, yet behind the facade, he was confronting the gravity of his actions. The air was thick with anticipation as the prosecution laid bare the evidence, illustrating the devastation his power had wrought and drawing an unmistakable line from his decisions to the suffering they caused. In the midst of this tension, Gotti's defense team sprang into action. They painted a picture of a misunderstood man, insisting that he was merely a businessman caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. They tried to dismantle the prosecution's case piece by piece, claiming that the testimonies of former associates were tainted by deals made to save themselves. However, as days turned into weeks, it became increasingly clear that the scales of justice were tipping decisively against him. The relentless effort and vast evidence from the FBI were compelling, revealing the true extent of Gotti's criminal operations. As the trial progressed, the atmosphere shifted, whispers of doubt among his supporters began to fade, replaced by the solemn realization that the Teflon Don's facade was finally cracking under the weight of truth. As the trial neared its conclusion, the atmosphere in the courtroom grew heavier. The prosecution, armed with an arsenal of incriminating evidence, meticulously unraveled Gotti's empire, laying bare the connections to violence and corruption. Each document presented and every witness called brought Gotti's reign to a climactic turning point. Defiant yet increasingly isolated, he struggled to maintain his bravado, knowing the weight of his fate rested in the hands of the 12 jurors who had observed his calculated life unraveling before their eyes. The day of the verdict arrived, a moment that felt loaded with potential consequences. Tension filled the air, as spectators crowded the courtroom, eager for a conclusion to this sensational case. Gotti's supporters watched anxiously, while those seeking justice held their breath, hopeful that the truth would prevail. As the jury filed in, silence enveloped the courtroom. All eyes turned to the foreman, heartbeats echoed like thunder as he cleared his throat, and delivered the verdict, guilty on multiple counts, a declaration signaling a long-awaited end to Gotti's notorious reign. Justice, at last, had prevailed. In the wake of Gotti's conviction, the streets echoed with a renewed sense of hope. Law enforcement celebrated a hard-earned victory, galvanizing their resolve to continue dismantling organized crime. Communities once paralyzed by fear began to reclaim their peace, forging a path towards healing and recovery. Families impacted by Gotti's actions found solace in justice served, their stories now intertwined with the broader narrative of resilience against the shadows of crime. The Teflon Don's legacy became a cautionary tale, a reminder that no amount of charisma could shield one from accountability. The reverberations of Gotti's downfall reached far beyond the courtroom. As the Gambino family's influence waned, rival factions sensed an opportunity to expand their territories, leading to a power vacuum that fueled further chaos. Law enforcement was not only tasked with tackling remnants of Gotti's empire but also with combating the ensuing turf wars that erupted as gangs vied for dominance. The renewed urgency in their efforts sparked a wave of intelligence sharing and coordinated crackdowns across jurisdictions, reflecting a collective commitment to restoring safety in a landscape marred by violence. In the aftermath, the relentless pursuit of justice continued, focusing on dismantling the remnants of Gotti's empire. Investigators pieced together the intricacies of his organization, shedding light on operatives who had evaded scrutiny for too long. Numerous arrests followed, signaling that Gotti's conviction was just the tip of the iceberg. As law enforcement delved deeper into the underbelly of organized crime, families who had long lived under the specter of fear began sharing their stories, further illuminating the far-reaching impact of Gotti's reign. With each new discovery, the resolve of officers grew stronger, invigorated by the community's support that had rallied in the face of adversity. As investigations progressed, the FBI's focus expanded, revealing a network of corruption that had engulfed more than just Gotti's immediate circle. They unearthed connections to local politicians, law enforcement officials, and even legitimate businesses under the guise of respectability. The revelations shocked the public, highlighting how deep the roots of organized crime had penetrated society. Trust, once a cornerstone of community relations, began eroding as the truth emerged, putting pressure on officials to address systemic corruption. Town halls burst with concerned citizens demanding accountability and change, forgetting the glamour once associated with Gotti and instead confronting a reality that required courage to face. The fight against crime became not just a law enforcement goal but a community movement, rallying individuals towards a shared commitment to rebuilding a sense of safety and integrity. The momentum of change continued to accelerate, drawing allies from every corner. Local organizations sprang up, dedicated to providing support for at-risk youth, aiming to steer them away from the paths that had ensnared many before. Mentorship programs, job training initiatives, and community vigilance fueled a collective sense of purpose, reminding everyone that hope breeds resilience. Empowered by newfound resolve, citizens actively participated in community watch groups and town meetings, fostering a culture of accountability and vigilance. Educational campaigns attempted to dismantle the allure of crime, emphasizing a narrative of survival through unity rather than fear. Change was palpable everywhere. Formerly silent neighborhoods began to thrive, their streets once again echoing with laughter and conversation instead of whispers of dread. The sins of the past, marked by Gotti's reign, now served as a catalyst for a brighter, collective future. As the community worked towards healing, conversations about the lasting effects of Gotti's reign evolved. Local leaders began to share their visions for a safer future, emphasizing the importance of unity and cooperation. Town forums became a regular fixture, encouraging open dialogue among citizens who sought to ensure that their histories did not repeat themselves. Children, once terrified by the shadows of crime, now participated in workshops that promoted empowerment and resilience. With new community centers popping up, families found safe spaces to gather, reflect, and support one another, gradually restoring a sense of normalcy. As the community united, they collectively drew strength from their shared experiences, committing to nurture hope and combat the remnants of fear that had lingered long after the Teflon Don's fall. As the healing process continued, the community embraced initiatives that celebrated resilience and unity. Neighborhood block parties became a staple, allowing families to connect and share their aspirations for a better future. Local artists painted murals depicting their triumph over adversity, transforming once bleak walls into vibrant testaments of hope. Schools introduced programs focusing on conflict resolution, instilling values of cooperation and respect among the youth. With each new gathering, the shadows of Gotti's reign seemed to fade, replaced by a renewed commitment to building a safer, more inclusive environment for everyone. Together, they forged ahead, embodying the spirit of resilience that marked their journey towards lasting change. As the community's commitment to transformation deepened, leaders recognized the necessity of ongoing vigilance and education. Workshops centered on the dangers of organized crime were implemented in schools, ensuring that the younger generation understood the consequences of Gotti's legacy. Inviting former law enforcement officials and community activists as guest speakers became a way to inspire and educate, providing real-life perspectives on the importance of staying united against crime. Parents, once filled with anxiety, now took pride in their children's engagement with programs that emphasized integrity and resilience. Young people began to envision futures free from the shadows that had haunted their families, realizing that their dreams could thrive in a community built on hope and cooperation. As the transformation continued, a poignant story emerged from a once frightened neighborhood. A group of young residents, inspired by the commitment around them, began organizing a local talent show. Their goal was to showcase the vibrant cultural spirit that had long been overshadowed by fear. They invited artists, musicians, and performers to participate, creating an atmosphere of celebration and community pride. The anticipation built as the day approached, with neighbors bonding over shared dreams and aspirations. Local businesses rallied support, donating prizes and refreshments, further strengthening community ties. On the night of the event, laughter echoed through the streets, a joyous reminder that hope and resilience could triumph over adversity. As the talent show unfolded, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and anticipation. Families gathered, sharing laughter and stories, their faces glowing with joy against the backdrop of colorful decorations. Local performers, once silenced by fear, took to the stage, unleashing their talents, singing, dancing, and showcasing the rich cultural fabric of the community. Each act added fuel to the fire of unity that had been ignited through shared experiences, further solidifying the resolve to rebuild a brighter future together. The echoes of applause became a hopeful anthem, signifying that resilience had triumphed once again. In the years that followed, the transformation of the community served as a powerful counter-narrative to the chaos once brought by John Gotti. Through unity and resilience, they not only reclaimed their neighborhoods but forged a legacy of hope that would inspire future generations to stand strong against adversity, ensuring that the lessons learned